Hello, it's Rob here and welcome to the next of my build videos on the new Tamiya TD4 Super Avante. We're starting off on parts bag B, step 6, building this bull diff. Well folks, just before we get into it, I've built a couple of these in the past and every one I've done, I'll just point out, you see these bits here? That's always been a complete bearing unit. However, for this one, looks like you've got to make it yourself, and oh my goodness, look at how small those ball bearings are, and they don't even sit in any cups like the ones on the diff gear itself. So I think that's possibly going to be a nightmare. So let's get on. I have already started with MB20 and 21 and MB18s. I've greased all of them up with the appropriate bull diff grease already. So I'm moving swiftly on to the differential gear and adding the balls to this. At least these are slightly bigger. Okay, so we're all balled up for now, and if we look at this section here, for the bottom bit, which is this bit here, oops, we need an 850 bearing that pops in. This MB8 5 by 0.5 mil shim, whoops, and then for this other side that's got a sticky outy bitty, we just need the bearing. And then we should be able to put that one there and get that one, and at some point, there we go, they all fit together. And we can now move on to the nightmare before Christmas. Right, okay, I think I'm going to get a bit covered in grease here. Right, we've got 2 MB5s, which are these washers, 8 MB12s, which are these bleeding things here. Can't get over how small these are, I can hardly see them. Okay, right, so I'm going to grease this up. I'm going to put one of these washers on. And then lots of grease, maybe a bit too much grease. that's hopefully hit, or it even. But I am just going to have to have a gander. Next step is the other washer. And then we're going to need MB13, and I have already given it a compress, and it does say for some strange reason compress once then attach, so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so what we hopefully do then is pass this up here, and once we get up there we hopefully shouldn't lose any ball bearings. We put MB13 in and then A5, and I believe we have to push that in a bit. To get it engaged. That's it. I'm happy that that's locked. Now we come down to, I think that's 4. It doesn't mention anything about cutting them in half, so I think we'll do that. Will they stay in? And then we've got 4 of these MB9s, which are 10 by 0.2 shims that we need to slip on each side before the massive 15 10 bearings. And there's one bull diff step 6 completed, ready for us to get to step 7. Step 7 is installing the bull diff, and also if you notice here the 2 exhausts, which I'm going to have to do in a bit because having just seen them, I've took them downstairs and I've sprayed them up, so hopefully they'll be silver by the time I come back to fit them. Anyway, before we get into it, we've got this part here, K5, which if you have a look down at this diagram here, we're supposed to put this sponge tape on. So I've done all of that and I've cut it out as best as I can using my scalpel, and before I started I did put a brand new blade on, so it's razor sharp and it's not done too bad a job. Not forgetting to cut out the hole there, and then we've got these 2 bits here which go on here, and then it's supposed to go over the pinion gear and spur gear. However, I've just been doing a bit of testing and I can't get the holes to line up, so I'm going to quickly attempt to screw them in. It's these MA3s, 3x6mm, and see if I can force it. Oh. Actually, that has fitted now. That's weird, but they definitely weren't lined up. So I think what I'll do is take them out and put some thread lock on them just to make sure they don't come out during running. I've already fitted the bull diff in place ready, but weirdly I can't fit this, which is actually step 8, because the exhausts go here, and if this is fitted then I can't screw them in. So yeah, I think it's coffee time again while I sort out me painting. Okay, so I've painted the exhausts and installed them, so we can now move on to step 8, covering the motor and the diff. And we need part, whatever this part number is, K1, and it simply fits over like so. And then we need 8 screws, I believe, 2 countersink ones here, 4 10mm, and then another 2 8mm ordinary screws. So I'll get on and do that, and we can carry on. There it is, all screwed in. Just tilt it up a bit. You might be able to see all the screws, might not. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can then swiftly move on to step 9, which is making up the lower arms, as Tamiya call them, or A-arms, or wishbones as I call them here in the UK, and should be fairly quick, other than we need 2 D1s, 4 D3s, 4 D2s and 2 MB16 bars, and also a couple of ball joints that I've already put in place, and then we just need to put the spacers on, and then this kind of ball joint affair, and then a space on the other side, and the other ball jointy thing, and you do that twice, making a note that there is a left and right versions, so I can swiftly then move on to step 10. Step 10 is attaching these lower arms, or wishbones as I call them. That's what they used to be called. We're going to need K4, which is used to hold them in, and then this part B4, which looks to be like a skid platey thing. So we'll get straight on and hopefully get these in. Obviously we need the chassis. And it just slots in that hole there. And I think this is one of those times when you're going to need 3 hands. And then this piece here goes something like so. There we go, come on, get in. That's it. And then I think we'll take one of these, I can't remember what the number is, but these countersink screws. Pop this bracket on and then see if we can work it all the way through and thither. So I'll get them tightened up, ready for the next stage. Okay, so the last 2 steps in this video, and which will complete parts bag B, I can't get over it, are steps 11 and 12. Step 11 is making up the rear axles, really easy. The only curious thing is this part MB23, which is a grub screw, which if you look at this diagram here, you screw all the way in on this second hole. You can't really see it now, I put the sponge on, and no idea, I haven't got a clue. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind for me is perhaps it's just to stop dust getting in, but I don't know. We'll see possibly later on, maybe during the rest of the install, or if not, I'll have a look at the setup stuff at the back just to see. But hey, that's that done. You've got to do 2 of them, and you do need to be careful because that will come out. But yeah, we're going straight on to step 12. So we're going to attach these bits now. So we need the chassis the right way up. Also, weirdly, I'm going to turn it round because we've got a screw in from this side. Yep. So the first task is, and I don't think there's any, no, these can go either way round, so we get one of these bars, MB17s, stick the axle in between the lower arm, poke the stainless steel rod through like so, and then we get one of these, what size are they, 2.6 by 5 mil. Oh, and this is actually a JPS head screw, and that just goes in there, if I can find the hole, which I can't, and that screws in like so, and I can finish that off at will. And then obviously we need to take a dog bone. Hooray! Oh. Right, are you in? Yes. And then we clip on the turnbuckle, and that should hopefully hold it all in place. Woohoo! It's exactly the same on the other side, so I'm going to do that off camera because unlike all the other kits, you just can't see when you're trying to do stuff on camera. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, so there we have both sides done. Strangely, they seem to have a limited suspension, as you can tell. That's strange, look, even upside down they don't flop down. So, with that, that's parts bag B finished. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I really hope to see you on the next one for parts bag C, which is looking like at least the rear shocks. Yep, and maybe even the front ones, but we'll wait and see. So, thanks for watching. Bye!